Rhett, you found it, buddy. You found it. Dude, that's the firebox. All right, folks, we're starting our journey out here in Kinsley, Kansas, otherwise known as Midway, USA. And this is a halfway point between San Francisco and New York. And several railroads came through this town, and one of those was a short-lived railroad called the Anthony Northern or the Wichita Northwestern. It did change its name. Well, in its short 20-something year history, one of their locomotives got washed away on one of the bridges. And kind of what happens out here in the West are the rivers, they flash flood. And they take the bridges out with them. And Anthony Northern number 1 met its fate at the bottom of the Arkansas River. And this is our second trip out here looking for this. Our first trip out here to Kinsley, we were actually on the wrong railroad. I didn't even know about the Wichita Northwestern Railroad at the time. We were actually on an old ATSF line that was east of town. Now, this railroad comes through the south of Kinsley. And if you look on Google Maps, you can't see it. I mean, usually you can see old rail bed, even if it's 100 years old, if it hasn't been messed with. Even if the rail's been brought up, you can find it. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video. It's really exciting. It isn't some huge locomotive, but here you have it. Alright, we kind of set up a little base camp. We're out here, we're armed with our metal detectors and some shovels. We're kind of in the middle of the area that we need to search. So we're going to do some just walking around just to see if we can visually see it. And then we're going to basically grid it out with our metal detectors and just start hitting it with the metal detector. So you think we're going to find it this time, bud?
I think so.
It's windier and all crap out here, but
We're going to make it.
you think we're going to make it?
Yep.
All right, let's see what we can find. Look, Dad. You gotta wave your metal detector left and right. See these big banks? We need to try to hit these banks up, like in the center right here. Getting something right there?
Right there.
Oh, look at that. Look at this.
I just found
You did this. What is it? It's a big old piece of metal, buddy.
Holy moly, Dad.
What do you think it is?
I think it's part of...
You think it's part of the train?
Yeah.
Or it's an old T-post, one of the two.
Dad,
That there is an old T-post.
what's a tape phone?
Oh, fence post. It's an old fence post.
Well, that's our first thing, Dad. That's our first find.
Yeah, we need to try to get this out of here so nobody trips on it, but let's keep hitting the metal detector up around here first, okay? Little possum right there. Little squirrely Dan. He's just a youngin'. He's playing dead. Cute little bugger. I think we're getting close. See, I think this is part. Oh yeah, look, Rhett. It's part of the old bridge. It's the old railroad bridge. Holy moly, we found the bridge. Dude, check that out. Dude. Oh, freaking sweet. Check it out. These timbers here are probably close to 100 years old. This is the old Wichita Northwestern, or the Anthony Northern Bridge. I didn't think we would find it. I found a picture on Google after about 6 hours of searching of them building this bridge. So if the rumors are true, our train is somewhere in this riverbed. Now I'm in the riverbed. I don't want to go too far off. I don't want to do any trespassing, but check this piece of history out. Look at this. I know it's just some pieces of wood sitting here, but well, we haven't found a train, but we found a bridge, didn't we?
Yep.
Check that out, dude. Check this out. Look at that. This is over 100 years old, dude. A train went across this. Yeah. Oh, check this out. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That looks like wrought iron, dude. Hey, let's take that. There's two of them right here. So these were the ties that went across. That one's stuck in the wood. We'll come back to that.
That's crazy.
Nice. Come on. So here's a better view of the bridge. You see it going across here. There's pretty much nothing left this way and that way. This was a pretty wide bridge. I mean, probably at least 400 or 500 yards long. So I think it's time to whip out the metal detector and see if we can find this thing, because it's like a needle in the haystack. So pretty cool. That's all that's left of her.
Well,
No train yet?
no, but we did find some things. Got something in my pocket. I thought I had something.
It's out here taking a break.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where it is.
Where's that rod?
That rod?
Go get your rod here. The day started out pretty cold and windy, but look at the sun. It's beautiful. And we have found the bridge, which is really, really cool. See, if you see right here, part of this is actually fenced off, and this is still, you know, the river. You can walk the river, I believe. We really don't want to get off the river too far, so probably what we're gonna do, might take the four-wheeler up the road and go talk to the people that's across the road to see if they know anything about this locomotive, and see if this is their property up above the river, and see if they'll let us I don't know, get on it. So
What we found?
this right here is a piece of the bridge, and I don't know if anybody can tell, this kind of looks like wrought iron. I could be wrong, but these are some of the ties that held it on there. Now, I was just reading, I forgot I took some screenshots from an old website from the early 2000s. And this train that we're looking for was sold, I'm pretty sure it was sold from Rock Island Railroad to the Anthony Northern, which is now the Wichita Northwestern. They switched names. And the train went across the river and the bridge washed out, and now it was in the river. Now this website was talking about early 2000s, or the early 2000s website was talking about some guys back in the day could still see the tender of the train off part of the trestle, and they used to jump off it into the water. Well, if you can tell here, the river is drier than a popcorn fart. So we were at where the trestle was at, and there's no sign of that train. I ran my metal detector around it and there's nothing. And maybe it's deeper, I'm not sure. I don't know. Am I in the wrong spot? I guess we'll find out. All right, I'm extremely excited. So just Rhett and I were over here, right? And I was like, Rhett, I got a signal in this hole. I said, Rhett, go look around up there with your metal detector and check out what my boy just found. He just found it. It's the firebox.
Oh, I found part of it.
Dude, you found it! Oh my gosh. Well, guys, I know this ain't much. Somebody's tried to dig this out a little bit before. So here's what's crazy, okay? I'm really excited right now, so I can't talk. The river flows this way. The train is on this side, which is weird because if the bridge washed out, you'd think it would wash the train down that way, but it's right here. We're gonna get this dug out, and part of this dugout, it would appear the boiler's laying this way. So where our drivers are gonna be out from here, I am not sure. You found it, Rhett. You found it.
I'm a pretty good searcher.
Dude, you're a pro. All right, so guys, we're gonna get this cleared out so we get a better view of this firebox. You see it in there. A critter might have been living in there. Oh my gosh, how exciting. All right, buddy, let's get this cleared out. Well, Rhett just found this.
In this dirt pile over here?
Yeah, so this here, as insignificant as it seems, we're excited about it, but this piece of coal, when this train sunk in this river, this coal was probably just thrown in the firebox, and she went into the river and sunk, put the fire out, and this is what's left. So 100 years ago, somebody shoveled this in, sunk the train, and here we are 100-something years later digging her up. And put that in your pocket?
A back pocket.
That's pretty neat, dude.
That's your second one.
All right, so we've done quite a bit of digging here. So here's a large opening right here. Now where Rhett's at, watch out, Rhett. There is a large opening, and it looks like it runs all the way to here. Now, I don't know if this was torched off or what, but there is some type of plumbing in here. I can't tell if it's flues or what it is. That's something pretty cool. Rhett and I are digging this out, and I'll show you guys later, but we found a couple pieces of coal. I wish I had a tape measure, but to actually take some measurements. But down here on the bottom of the firebox, there's a small hole, plumbing hole of some sort. And we're gonna try to clean this off down here to see exactly what this is. It's just so massive. I mean, it would take weeks to dig this out by hand. So I think we're gonna dig for a little while longer, try to get some more identifying marks, and go from there. So I would really love to get permission from the state to get a mini X out here and dig this thing out. Somebody started to. That's how we found this. A metal detector would have picked this up, but this was kind of dug out, and then down below it's kind of dug out a little bit. I mean, this thing's massive. So I'll show you guys the bridge real quick. I know I've already showed you, but So the bridge came across right here. You can see the pylons. The river flows this way. Okay? The crazy part is the train's on this side. So the bridge was definitely washed out before the locomotive crossed it, be my guess. So if you see the way it's pointing down this direction, it's gotta be, see, somebody's dug down here. The end of that bugger's gotta be probably right here. All right, check this out. Dug down here. Here's the firebox. Got these 3 prongs on here. I don't know what they are. But now we're down to sand finally. This is all topsoil. So, I don't know. I want to keep digging, but I know it's just not worth it. But we're really trying to find some good identifiers here. So, we'll keep playing around. Well, we'll come back and dig another day, buddy. But if any of you guys can identify the parts on this to verify this was one of those Rock Island 440s, let me know. So I'll do one last pass over here. This is what I believe to be the firebox. We have some mounts on the side of the firebox. Got it looks to be, I don't know, a drain hole for the firebox. We're following the back of it. Now this starts to round out, makes a circle here. I don't know if this has been torched off, might have been. But this is open hole into the firebox. You guys can see. And this just rounds, comes straight down right here and rounds out. I know it's not a full locomotive, but that is pretty dang exciting. All right, so I want to start out with, up until this point in the video, I knew nothing about this railroad because the information on the Anthony Northern or the Wichita Northwestern, whichever you want to call it, is very limited on the internet. So after we found the locomotive, I found out about a book called The Wheat Belt Route. It's called The Wheat Belt Route by Lee Berglund. And it was written in 1998, and this guy spent like 30 years of his life researching this railroad, and he actually got to interview some of the guys that still worked on this railroad back in the 60s. You know, obviously the railroad went out of business in the 40s. But let me tell you, this is the first time I've stepped into a library as an adult, and that's the only way I could find this book. There's one for sale on the internet for $160 on eBay, and there's another one at a small bookstore in Kansas. So I couldn't wait, so we ran down to the library, and this book answered almost every question I had. And it even had the location where this locomotive was. And it's crazy because on the internet, nobody really knew where it was. But in the book, it sits here and shows me where it's at. So if there's something I learned during this whole process of hunting for this locomotive is the internet does not have all the answers. And I think libraries are the place to go look for real, true facts and history that is not on the internet. All right, let's get into some history on the locomotive itself. So it was purchased from the Rock Island Railroad by the Wichita Northwestern, but at the time it was called the Anthony Northern. So this was the first locomotive bought for the Anthony Northern Railroad. This was their number one locomotive. So it was a 440 built in 1887 by Brooks, I think, Locomotive Works. And the original number was 567, and that was the Rock Island number. So not very much is known on the locomotive on when it actually went into the Arkansas River. It's all speculation, I guess. I read the whole book here, and it really didn't say when the locomotive sunk. And my assumption is the bridge was already washed out when the locomotive tried to cross. So the weird thing is it's actually upriver slightly from the bridge. So maybe when the bridge washed out, the track, veered left, and the locomotive just, I don't know, it's not washed down the river, which is wild to me, because usually it's the other way around. So in the book, it talks about the tender, about how back, I don't know if it's what year it was, the 60s, 70s, somebody actually cut the back of the tender boxes off the corners and saved those pieces. So in the book, it also says the tender is sitting down at a 45-degree angle. And if anybody doesn't know what a tender is, it's the back of the locomotive where your water and your coal or your wood is stored. So that's where I need people that are actually experts on locomotives to identify what little here I did dig up, because I can't tell if this is the actual firebox or if it's a piece of the tender. It's rumors say that the tender was scrapped because it was slightly showing. And there's actually some old pictures in the book that I'm reading that shows a piece of tender that is cut, made for one of the trenchers that the Anthony Northern had. So if the tender was still sticking out of the water at the time, even though it was flooded, the train was a complete loss, they may have tried to salvage what they could off of it. So I don't know. I guess it's all mystery until I can dig this thing up or get some really good close-up pictures of a Brooks 440 built in 1887 to identify if this, what I'm showing, is the firebox. So that's my limited history that I'll share on this. I will definitely be making a video on the Wheat Belt Railroad here on the Wichita Northwestern. It's going to take more research, and I think I need to get good pictures to make of that. But at any rate, so where do we go from here? There's a locomotive. I know it's right there. It's in the river. It's on, I guess, state property. It's a dried riverbed. So what I have done up to this point, I have contacted people that have been in similar situations, and they did get permission from the state with permits to pull a steam traction engine out of the Republican River. I actually talked to one of the guys that helped do that and how they went through the process with the state of getting it out. And also that kind of comes with getting permission from the landowner, because this thing is upriver a ways from the main road, and to get access to this part, to actually get this thing excavated out, you would have to get permission from the landowner. It honestly could be just a pipe dream, and it may never happen. But I'm going to try to look into it and see if it's even plausible. If it is, drop a comment if you think it would be worth trying to pull this out. I don't know how many 440 Brooks old Rock Island Railroad locomotives are in existence, if there is any. I know there's some 440s, but I don't know if there's any that was actually from the Rock Island Railroad. Is this a rare locomotive? I'm not sure. So if you think it is, drop a comment, let me know. If you guys could, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. We're really close to getting at 1,000 subscribers. And if a guy could make $1 or $2 on YouTube to buy some more cameras, it would be awesome. I would like to make some better footage at some point, some more high quality footage, and hopefully get a better computer at some point to edit these videos, because what I'm using right now is kind of ancient, and I work with what I got. So once again, I appreciate you guys watching, and listen to me ramble on, and we'll catch you on the next one.